Right, hello guys. Today I'm going to help you with the Economics 1601 Assignment 3. Okay, this is the unique number and is for first semester of 2020. Okay, let's just dive right into question 1. Right, so which of the following statements are correct? Which of the following statements are correct? If spending equals to production in income, there is no tendency for production in income to change. So this is correct because when A is equals to Y, then all it means is things are in equilibrium state and there is no need for any change. There is no need for either increasing income or either increasing production or either increasing spending because things will be in equilibrium state. That's the desired state. In other words, okay, so if spending is greater than production and income, it means there is a disequilibrium state. The level of production and income will decrease. So here we are saying spending is greater than production and income. So what has to increase so that we things will get into an equilibrium state is production and income. So this is wrong. Production and income should increase so that it equals spending. So that's why B is incorrect. So let's just do C and D for and E for the sake of revision. Right, if spending is greater than production in income, the level of production and income will increase. If spending is greater than production and income, the level of this is correct because production and income should increase so that it will be equal to spending, and then we'll say this it's now in a state of equilibrium because it should be A equals to Y, which is production and income. So production and income is one thing that goes together, right? If production is less than if spending is less than production and income, the level of production and income will decrease. If spending is less than, which means production is higher than spending, then the level of production should decrease so that it will be equal to spending, promoting an equilibrium state. Okay, then for E, spending may be equal to income but smaller than production. Like I said, production and income is one thing that goes together. You can say production, you can say income, so you cannot separate the two. So it should be spending is equal to production plus income. That should go together, production and income, then spending. So it's like we have got two sides, spending, and then the other side is production and income. So you cannot split the two. Okay, so this is why E is wrong as well, which then means that our correct answer is A, C, and D. Let's go to question 3.2. According to the Keynesian model, the factors that influence a household's induced consumption are the marginal propensity to consume and the disposable income. Right, this thing, so-called induced consumption, is consumption that is influenced by income. We are saying this is the consumption that is determined by income. So income, as you know, that if we're talking about disposable income, we're talking about income after tax. After you pay tax, you then left with the disposable income to overspend. So that disposable income you can either save or you can consume. So it is part of the other things that determine induced consumption. Okay, so the correct answer is this one. This thing of total wealthy, the number of person in the household, and is not. Disposable income increases. So if disposable income increases, then induced income will also increase. There was a repetition of words here. Let's go to question 3.3. Okay, as you can see, we have got this graph. Right, the point labeled A2 represents what? Right, if you can check here, A2 is this one. Let me just do like this. You see, this is A is equals to income and production. This is the story which we were actually discussing on question 1. Now let's just deal with this one. The point labeled A2 represents what? A2, this one. Okay, so I want to go with you bit by bit. Right, as you can see, this is spending represented by A and this is income. I just want to teach you how to interpret graphs. Okay, so from there you must know that from year 0 to A1, you see that a person with zero income can consume up to A1. So this type of consumption is referred to as autonomous consumption. Autonomous consumption is when people can consume when they do not have income. They will be using other sources of they will be funding that consumption with other sources like past savings or credit. So from 0 to A1 is autonomous consumption, right? Which is actually shown by this area. So I've put this line to show that the area below this autonomous consumption function is the autonomous consumption area, the whole of this area. Okay, then from there we have got this induced consumption, which is going like this. It's an upward function, as you can see, which actually tries to explain that there is a positive relationship between consumption and income, which means as consumption increases, you see, income will also, as income increases, consumption will also increase. So this is the consumption function. Remember, the consumption function is autonomous consumption plus induced consumption. That's what makes consumption. So it's always like this, right? Then from there, as you can see, we have got this A2. So in a simple Keynesian model, we only have, we can say autonomous consumption is just the consumption plus investment. So from here to here is investment. And we say investment in a simple Keynesian model is not related to income, and it's always a horizontal function. This is why you see here we have got this consumption line shift parallel to this A2, where we have now consumption plus investment here. So let's try to answer our question 3.3. The point labeled A2 represents autonomous spending. It's autonomous spending. Remember, autonomous spending is consumption plus investment because it's in the simple Keynesian model. You need to understand that. Okay, so the correct answer is this one. So there is no induced consumption being talked about here. There is no. Okay, so let's go to the gap labeled W. I've explained it already. The gap labeled W, this one, is investment. So if we go to a model where there is government spending, you can see that if they increase government spending, if they put government spending, this will also increase because it's an autonomous variable, and then we will have another consumption function here, which will be including C plus I plus G as autonomous spending. So this mark W is investment. You can see that by here where they are saying autonomous spending now is equals to consumption plus investment. So it's investment spending. So like I said, in the simple Keynesian model, autonomous spending is equals to consumption plus investment. That's all. Right, let's quickly check which of the following is likely to shift the consumption schedule downwards. All right, consumer prices are expected to fall. So if consumer prices are expected to fall, it means they stop consuming, waiting for the price to fall, then they will start, buying. So that's what actually makes the consumption to move, because when it goes downwards, then it means there is a reduction in consumption. Right, in this simple Keynesian model, which of the following is correct about investment? Right, as income increases, investment also increases. This is incorrect because, like I said, in a simple Keynesian model, investment is an autonomous function to income because there is no relationship actually. This is why it is a horizontal function, right? So there is no, so income doesn't determine investment, but there is a negative relationship between investment and interest rate. You know that when the interest rate is low, then people can borrow and invest. When interest is high, then people cannot borrow to invest. So when interest is high, there is low investment. When the interest is low, then there is high investment. So that's an inverse or a negative relationship or a correlation. Okay, so investment is, now I'm at 3. Investment is autonomous and is illustrated by horizontal function. Like I said, that's perfect. Investment is not affected by the level of income. Perfect. That is in the what? Simple Keynesian model. Right, which of the following factors will increase the size of the multiplier? Obviously, it's the marginal propensity to consume. It's pretty much easy to know that because when you're calculating the multiplier, you say 1 then over then 1 minus C, which is the marginal propensity to consume. So the marginal propensity to consume actually determines the size of the multiplier. Or other things, they doesn't determine the size of the multiplier. Right, consider the following information to answer question 3.8 and 3.12. Okay, fine. Government spending, all the information is given, right? Autonomous expenditure is equal to So autonomous expenditure is equals to C, which is consumption plus investment plus government expenditure, then plus net exports. Net exports is actually calculated as X minus Z, which is imports. So let's quickly do that. We have got the consumption here is 280, which we have got the consumption, right, which is 280 is here. Then we've got 120, which is here. Then we've got 550, and then we also have this and this. If you calculate the whole of this, you can get 950, and then if you subtract here to get net export of 160, then if you add the two, you get 1110. So that's how you actually calculate autonomous expenditure. That's the formula. So what is the marginal propensity to save? So I've given you this hint that marginal propensity to save plus marginal propensity to consume gives you 1. So, or you can say marginal propensity to save is equals to 1 minus marginal propensity to consume. You see? So in this case, let's say we have been given the marginal propensity to consume up there. If you can check, we have this marginal propensity to consume, which is 0.7. So like I said, if you say marginal propensity to consume plus marginal propensity to save, you must get 1, which means here it's clear that 0.25 is the marginal propensity to save. Okay, so you can say 1 minus marginal propensity, that is again 0.25. So this is pretty much easy. Okay, what is the value of the multiplier? So the multiplier is easy to calculate. The multiplier, you just say 1 over 1 minus marginal propensity to consume, then you get 4. Because it's just 1 over 1 minus C. That's the formula, this one. That's the formula. Then 1 over 1, then you just have to substitute C, the marginal propensity to consume, then you will get 4. So that's the answer. Okay? And again, when there is text, then you need to use the formula that uses text. But for now, let's just stick to this. So it's to save time. What is the equilibrium level of income? So the equilibrium level of income, you just have to say income is equals to equilibrium level of income is equals to multiplier times autonomous expenditure. Remember, we have calculated the autonomous expenditure, and we said it's 1,100. We said it's 1,110. Yeah. So we have to just multiply this by the multiplier 4. So obviously we'll get 4,440. What happens here? Oh, I've skipped everything. Let me quickly rectify this. Yeah, 4,440 is fine. So let's quickly go to 3.12. Is an increase in government spending in the Keynesian model will lead to a demand that is greater than supply, because people will be having money. Remember, government spending is all about reducing taxation and increasing spending. No, I'm talking of taxation, not taxation, but it's all about increasing spending. So when the government increases expenditure, it means people will have income, people will have jobs and so forth, and then it means demand will increase. So let me skip all this and just go to problem-giving areas. Equilibrium level of income is that at which the economy is at full employment level of income, which means where A is equals to, which means where production and income is equal to spending. So let me come to this one, 3.16. In the simple Keynesian model with no government and external sector, if an increase in investment expenditure of 150 results in a final, right, in a simple Keynesian, if an increase in investment of 150 results in a final increase in income of 600, it follows that the marginal propensity to consume is equals to 0.25. You just have to like change in income over change. It's just change in investment over change in income. Then you will get this 0.25. And remember, it should be always 0 point something, not like a number above 1. Right, the equilibrium level of income is 17,000, right? 17,000 million. The full employment income is 22 million, and the marginal propensity to consume is 0.8. By how much should the investment expenditure change to bring the national income to full employment level? So the first thing you have to do is to So I said, first, to reach the full employment equilibrium level, we need to, 22 minus 7, because we are at 17, and then to reach we have to get to 22, so the difference is 5,000. So once we get the difference, is fine, but remember the multiplier determines, so we have to calculate the multiplier then. So the multiplier, like I said, is 1 over 1 minus c. The marginal propensity to consume, they said, is of 0.8, so let's just substitute, and then it's 5 here. So what it means is, when the multiplier is 5, what it means is, for every 1 rand increase in investment, there will be an increase of 5 rand in national in income, because we have to multiply by the multiplier, right? So therefore, since we want 5,000 increase in income, we have to divide the multiplier by 5. So it means a 1,000 increase in investment, if you multiply it by 5, the multiply, then you'll get 5,000, which is the amount we want us to get to the full employment equilibrium level, to the full employment level. So which of the following statement is correct about introduction of tax in the Keynesian model? It swivels the aggregate expenditure curve downwards. This is straightforward. It doesn't, because it's not a part of the autonomous variables of spending. Like government, if you take government expenditure, let's say there is an increase in government, it will cause a shift, either going upwards or downwards, depending on whether it's increasing or decreasing. Then again, if you take something like investment, it causes a shift in. But as for tax, because it affects the multiplier, it swivels, which means what actually changes is that the curve is going to be a little bit flat, or it's going to be a little, but still it will be starting or emanating from the same autonomous spending. So this is why it just swivels the aggregate expenditure curve downwards, because it's an increase. But if it was like a decrease, then it swivels it upwards. Right, we have got this consumption function, the year 3.19. What is the savings function in the simple Keynesian model? Right, so you can calculate this by saying income is equals to consumption plus savings. So when you have got your income, you can consume or you can save. Therefore, savings, you can make savings the subject of the formula. I think this is quite simple, because you did it from you know all this stuff from your high school mathematics. So if you say s is equals to y is equals to minus, then to make s the subject of the formula, you just have to take y the other side. Okay, so like I said here, s is equals to y minus c, so I take c the other side. Okay, so here you can say s is equals to, then y, then minus, then consumption, we have the consumption function here, so you substitute where there is c with the value of the consumption function, which is 100 plus. But remember to enclose this with brackets, because it's more than one term. It's 100 plus 0. This negative sign, we are going to see that is going to affect somehow here. So you need to be very careful of signs. So to get this right, just put brackets, don't forget that. Then after that, you have to deal with this now. So you can say 100 minus 100. To remove the bracket, you know that you multiply by 1 year. There is 1 year. So to clear the bracket, you have to multiply the term outside the bracket by the terms inside the bracket. So minus 1 times 100, you get minus 1. Then minus 1 times 0.08, you get minus 0.080y. Then plus y. Then if you say minus 100 should come back, then plus here is going to be 0.2, because if you say minus 0.80 plus y, then here we regard as if there is 1, as you know. So when signs are different, subtract the smaller number from the bigger number and take sign of the bigger number. You all know this from your high school maths. So it's going to be a plus 0.2. So that could be the function. But imagine if you didn't put brackets, you will suppose just to say this negative will only affect 100, and this one was going to come back with a plus. Then you were supposed to choose 2, and your answer will be wrong. So just take care. So the key takeaway here is put brackets. Then the last equation, which of the following statement is correct about the 45-degree line? The 45-degree line. So let me just give you the answer and go to explain the 45-degree line above there. The 45-degree line shows the equality between the variable measured on the vertical axis and on the variables measured on the horizontal axis. Let me just explain that with this 45-degree line drawn here. Yes, this is the 45-degree line, this one. it's a perpendicular bisector of this 90-degree angle. So this 45-degree line, it actually shows that what is measured here, what is measured on the vertical axis, which is spending, is equal with what is measured at the, you see, A is on the vertical axis and Y is on the horizontal axis, and is equal, as you can see. So that's all about this video, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, and so that you receive notification for future videos, because we do videos that are very helpful. And remember that we don't just do economics, we offer world-class tutorials for the following modules: financial accounting modules, any FAC module, right? Then taxation, then economics from 1500 to 37 something, then mathematics, whether it's for programming, whatever we can do, then statistics, then DSC, decision science from 1500, 50 KMI, everything, computer sciences, Python, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, database, MySQL, everything. But remember, unlike those who do your assignments, we teach you to do it for such a good mark with this 95%. We teach you to do